Hey.
Yeah.
Look what came in.
Is this a fuel sending unit?
It is a fuel sending unit.
You want to go open it up?
Yeah, let's go open it up.
Alright.
All I have to do is put the floats on to the correct spots, and then we'll be able to put it inside the tank. So we're going to move this junk out of the way and get started on putting the floats on. I kind of glanced at the video that they sent on how to put it on. I'm just gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Really shouldn't be that big of a deal to
Huge difference between the
get it
two.
on. Yeah, but let me get this one back out so everyone can see the difference here.
Side by side.
Yeah, that's a pretty drastic difference in how nice one looks compared to the other. But yeah, I like the way that they did this one. It's like they took quite a few of the different things that were, I guess, poorly designed on the original one, and they fixed it. Like right here, instead of having those stupid little wires that have a little bitty solder joint on them that you know aren't gonna stay together, this has the real connectors like stuff uses on all the modern cars. So that was really nice. They put this in here because I know on mine, and I guess on everybody else's too, that they had the fuel level. Like if you were driving and you'd like come to a stop or something, you could see the gauge kind of bouncing. Well, this is supposed to
Stop it from bouncing?
Yeah, it kind of just stops it from bouncing. So looks like it's going to be a pretty good little part to put on it. Hopefully everything goes on easy for it and everything. But we're fixing to see. So looks like that's going to go on that way. It's always good to look at the original one to see how everything, how everything's gonna go. You can see that it's like that, and this will be spun around here like that. That just snapped in pretty easy. So there's that one. And then for this one. Looks pretty much like the original one again. Looks like we're gonna put it in about like that, and then snap it into the little plastic holder, and then that's it. So we got, this goes from full down to empty, but once you get down to a quarter, this one is going to do the little gauge that goes from a quarter down to empty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you know they thought that you really needed to have two different gauges for it. So let's see. We can get this all wiggled in here. Oh, before we do that, O-ring came with a new O-ring. Might as well use the new one and not the old one. These O-rings are super hard to find. I looked all over all the Nissan stuff, and they discontinued these. And then all the other companies that I had seen, they pretend like it doesn't exist. So I'm glad this company actually gave a new O-ring with it, because the old one here, I'm sure is going to be all kinds of nasty and brittle. It's, oh yeah, this bottom side's bad.
Yeah.
If it's saying it ain't that bad, but like it's at least still bendable. You know, a lot of times you'll get stuff that's that old and it's just gonna fall apart in your hand, but it bends at least, but it still is kind of nasty. So we'll see if we can get this to stay in the correct spot while we put that on. Might be a little bit of a task to get all that put together the right way. They did not make enough room to be able to put everything in here. Okay. I don't know if I like it that way yet. Yeah, I didn't have one of the nozzles because they got that baffle at the bottom of the tank, and it has like a different spot for everything. So the baffle had one little spot for this to sit in, another little cutout spot for that to sit in, because I think this is the return on the fuel system, so I kind of have to get it all wiggled into the right spot. Now look and see if I got it on. It looks really close. So what I'm going to probably have to do is do the back and have the back part in. And then I can kind of look at the front as I'm setting it down. Make sure it's all kind of... Alright, that just seated in there. Okay, now let's get the screws. And little bitty bolts.
Very tidy.
Yeah. And they're bolts with a screw head, so that's why sometimes I feel like the screw or the bolt I figure it'd be a lot easier to do this outside of the car, and it stops any kind of dirt or anything from getting in when we're trying to get this tank put into the car. One more? Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll get this all buttoned down and then we'll be back whenever it's time to put the tank in. Alright, now we're going to try to get this tank put in here. If you remember last time, whenever I was taking the tank out, this vent was broken off, so I'm going to go ahead and get the vent started into the right spot before we lift the tank up, because it's going to be impossible to get to it. It's going to go through right here, but from the inside. So I'm going to have to see if I can get it to wiggle in here. Yeah, there we go. And sorry about the bad lighting too. Our big light that we've been using decided it was gonna die on us. So we're gonna be using flashlights for this. Clamp on. And I'm gonna go ahead and clamp it all in place while we're here messing with it, because that isn't like I'm gonna have to really do anything to it once this one's on. And it takes a 1/4-inch hose for this. I think it's 1/4-inch or 6 millimeter. I didn't have a 1/4-inch hose on hand, so we're doing a 5/16. It's just a vent, so as long as you get the clamp tight, it isn't like it's gonna be a big issue no matter what. Almost. I consider it tight enough if I can't twist the hose. Yep, hose isn't twisting. That's tight enough. We'll kind of have this just draped right there for now, and I'll kind of try and get it figured out once we start. It's probably gonna be a big struggle getting this tank in. I think usually it's easy to take it out, but then getting it put back in, I feel like it takes 10 people.
Yeah, the hardest part.
Yeah. Because you're having to hold it up and then get the strap to go to the right spot, and it's just a pain in the butt for all of it. So we'll see what we can do with it. Before I get that filler all put in, I'm going to take it off and kind of bump it out because there's a little bit of junk that came out of it. Now, if I end up making any of this look easy,
it's not.
It's not. I just got lucky. Now's a good time to tell everybody wear safety glasses if you're going to be underneath a dirty old car.
Yeah, how much dirt is going to be in your eyes?
Yeah. And it's good time to tell everyone, hey, make sure you loosen this off as far as you can before you start. You probably won't be able to get it any other way. Is there a big wrench over there?
Big wrench, like a really?
Yeah, just a large wrench. Doesn't have to be a specific size.
I mean, here's a...
Maybe. Just need to get on. Yeah. Let's see if I can get hold on to the end. Always a good idea to prepare everything ahead of time so you're not holding the tank up with one hand while you're doing the work with the other hand. But hey, I don't want to have to get this tank back down and mess with it, so. Is the tank heavy? Yeah. Tank's heavy. Hey, once we get this one up, then we're gonna have something that's at least holding. Think this little strip here is causing a little hang up. And I'm sure I probably bent it a little bit whenever I was taking the tank out.
Okay. Yeah, just a bunch of things to go at you.
Yeah. Sometimes that's just why you just close your eyes and then start pulling on it. Might end up having to shorten that hose there that I put in. So I think it's hanging right now.
Oh.
You got a wire that went to the wrong spot. This is the struggling I was expecting. Oh no, that's the strip too. Okay. Alright, let's see now. Try not to kink this hose up too. That just fell in place. Okay. Now let's see if it'll be a little easier. That was a lot easier. It's always good when you finally get it done. You don't have to sit there and hold it. Alright. Now that we kind of learned a little lesson here, let's see if we can get this one loosened off a little bit. That's a 14. Oh, well, it's not going to be long enough. Yep, that was good enough. Okay, so we have these straps at least started now. So now we get to sit here and slowly tighten it up. And just like that, the tank is installed.
Let's
See, super easy. Wasn't hard at all, right? There was no struggle. We had it. All right. So I'm gonna go to the top side. Or actually, we need to get that shorter. Got it a little bit longer than it needed to be. So we'll shorten it up. We can get that without my head being in that camera. We like doing things multiple times. Right. And we'll make it be about that long right there. It. Turn this off. Put it on the new set, the new hose. Down a little bit more. About like that. Covering the camera up the whole time? I said, was I covering the camera up?
A little.
Okay. Yep, that's good. And that's it. So we can go to the top side and we can connect all the hose and wiring up and everything up there. And then we'll get this put on and we'll start filling it back up with gas. Alright, we got all the hoses hooked up. We have the wiring hooked up. Everything went together exactly like it's supposed to. Last thing to do underneath here is put our little access panel back on. And we'll be done underneath here. Alright, we're going to put the filler neck on now. Super easy, just the opposite of what we had to do before. And by super easy, I mean kind of rough. Just wiggle it on. And then we'll tighten our clamp down. Our 44-year-old clamp. That's good and tight there. And then if you remember, we had a cover that went over this, and I left bolts in here so we wouldn't lose them. And here's the cover. And hey, it's in. So we got the tank in, we got the wiring taken care of, and all that's left for us to do probably on the next part would be this old control arm here. We wanted to wait on the control arm until we got the tank in, because having that big old control arm in the way would really kind of give us even more of a headache. So we wanted to make sure the tank was in there first. Looks like we got it accomplished. Welcome back to the fun. So we got the fuel tank put up and we started putting some gas in to check it out and see how everything was, and I started smelling gas and I was like, oh great, it's probably where we put that seal all. It must be junk. But then this is where it's leaking from. We can go back here to the back where our seal all is. If I can get the lights on there. And it's perfect back here. So, looks like we either missed a hole after all, or whenever I was putting the tank on, maybe whenever I was tightening that strap down, I ended up hitting the spot there with that strap. You know, maybe I tightened it down a little more than I should have, and a weak spot developed a crack or a hole or whatever in it. So we're going to take this strap right here down and we're going to look and see what the issue is. Hopefully it's something simple again. I really don't want to buy a tank yet.
Thank you for watching Bird's Garage. If you like this content, like and subscribe, and tune in for part 5.